What's up, everybody? It's Brad with the Mature Minded Gamers, and we're here with another episode of Star Trek Discovery, Season 3, Episode 9, entitled Terra Firma, Episode 1. Guys, are you excited?
I was super excited when I seen the title.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't.
about when the excitement ended, wasn't it?
Really?
Yeah, the title did nothing for me.
Really? Why?
I don't know. Oh, part one, I guess, was like, oh, it's a two-parter.
Yeah. Well, we've got Will and Eric with us tonight. We are going to give you our thoughts, talk about the episode a little bit. Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about this episode and how it started out?
All right, so we start this one out with the spear data giving old Giorgio a 5% chance to survive this thing that she's going through. And that tends to be the whole focus of this whole episode, right? Did I miss anything?
More or less. I mean pretty much all we got.
Pretty much a start there. And so what'd you guys think of this? 5% chance. We get Saru, who kind of doesn't even want to help her. But of all people, the commander says, do this.
Well, did you really interpret that he didn't want to help her, or he just felt like there were other priorities? Because I kind of interpreted that there were other priorities, that he just felt like this wasn't the right use of the Discovery at this time. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't.
Right, but I mean, that's every time. Anytime there's a dilemma, we need to be doing this, but then the captain always makes the decision, we need to save every personnel, we have to help them, and Saru didn't do that.
Yeah.
So it kind of threw me off.
But he says the classic line, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one, which I freaking loved.
Exactly. Will, anything surprising here?
Not really. I mean, not from what you guys have already said. I was surprised, I guess, that Saru went that direction and it wasn't the Admiral going that direction. But I liked how Vance's comment, like, take it from an old salt. If you go against what your crew, it would like not look at you the same way.
This is the most humanity we've seen out of him. I mean,
right.
Before I wouldn't have thought he would want to have helped her at all. And so they kind of flipped the table on us there, which I thought was kind of cool.
Right.
And then, so in between that scene there, we see her kind of phasing in and out, trying to grab that cup, and Tilly comes up and, offers to help her, and she again goes total a-hole Terran and ends up throwing Tilly's food or drink, I forget what it was, onto her, and then Michael has to come in and kind of settle things down. And then we get the whole thing with computer data analyzing it. We get the doctor.
Coburn.
Yeah, Colbert.
You're right.
We get Colbert working with the special agent guy. I forget his name. The guy with the glasses.
I can't remember him either.
And the guy with the glasses explains what's going on, which is one of our theories, right? Of why
the Time Wars.
Well, what she was going through was the fact that she is from a different dimension and in a different time zone, and that's tearing her apart. So I think we called that one. I'm pretty sure we did.
Well, so I got a question for you guys with this whole scene. So that alien that we saw that was standing there from the Temporal Wars or whatever, during that conversation when he first came up, they were talking about Romulans right there. Do you think that was how Romulans look now?
No. Well, okay.
It kind of confused me. I was like, oh, is that the new Romulan?
I don't know. But you made reference to a part of this episode that was like pivotal. That was the first time in the Prime universe that we've acknowledged the start of the Kelvin universe. In the Prime universe, it's the first time they've ever made comment to that event, basically.
So
is that a wait? Are we in a different dimension? Are we not in the Prime universe anymore? Like, do you think the Discovery's not even in Prime? They're in the Kelvin timeline now.
Look, we talked about that last time.
Tangent,
We talked about last time how one of the two of you's harebrained theory is that Discovery isn't not in the Prime universe, and And this confirms that we're in the Prime universe, and that there was they know in this time frame, because of the temporal wars and everything, what happened that caused and what happened, and that it caused the Kelvin universe. Like, we know this now.
So that was the guy that they had was their only subject that happened to be in the same situation as Giorgio, right? So he was from the mirror universe, right?
Right. And how did he time travel? How, like, was he from the future? Was he from the past? Was it a Romulan?
I didn't recognize him. I didn't catch the Romulan reference either, so I need to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah, rewatch that part. I don't think that he was Romulan. I think
Probably not, but it was maybe coincidental that he said something about Romulans, and then they brought in that guy. So I was thinking maybe he was how the Romulans look now. So I
no.
probably saw that wrong.
I mean, they did. He mentioned Romulans, and that's because they were talking about. Well, they were talking about the event that caused the Kelvin universe. It was a pretty important. I don't know, pretty important part of the episode. That may have been the only part of the episode that I got all up in arms about.
Really?
That guy standing there?
Man, there was so much going on in this episode. But
Oh
okay.
my gosh. Okay, well, keep telling us about the episode, and
how about the goodbyes? When they decide that they're going to do this, they go to the planet. They decide Michael and Giorgio are going to go down together, and then the freaking hug from Tilly and the "I wish you well" from Saru, and then I mean that didn't get you at all.
No, not at all.
Oh my god, I thought that was amazing.
I thought it was a complete change from like a scene before when Giorgio flipped the Tilly's tray into her face.
Exactly.
I mean, that was like just a scene prior.
And she's been at Saru's neck the whole season about, you shouldn't be the captain and you're terrible. And same thing with Tilly. I just thought that was great.
Saru. Go ahead. Sorry.
At that point right there, I thought, well, she's gonna die. You don't get resolutions like that unless your character's dead.
Nah, they're not going to kill her character.
I think that might be the last time we see her on Discovery. I'm still going to go with that. But
okay, I'll subscribe to that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but you had just said that how Giorgio was just talking bad about Saru and stuff, and then he was like, "Oh, we didn't give much chance to interact."
Well, I think that's Saru's way of being nice and being like, we tried to avoid each other because we hate each other. But anyways.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So they go down to this planet. It's snowy. They walk for a little bit, and they come upon. Is it a Q? What was my first thought. They come upon this guy who's reading an old newspaper. That is a newspaper from the original series. I read it and I forgot what it was now. One of the original episodes, one of the time travelers has the same newspaper, the same brand name of newspaper, whatever. I forget what it's called now.
From the Next Generation or the original?
The
series?
original series.
Oh.
Yeah. Dang it, I screwed it up. I didn't write it down either. But anyways, it's the same paper. One of the episodes where they are talking to someone who is from the future or whatever, they have that newspaper. So I thought that was kind of a cool touch. So who is this guy? The actor looked really famous. Did you guys recognize him?
Oh yeah, I mean he was in CSI, the original CSI Las Vegas. He's been in a number of things. I think he's been in Law and Order and whatnot. Yeah, he's a. I mean, I wouldn't call him an A-list actor, but he's a fairly well-known actor.
Did he give you guys the kind of Q feel? Like he's a Q?
That's what I thought until he said his name was Carl, and then I was like, maybe he is a Q. I don't know. He could still be a Q. I mean, we are 900 years in the future. Maybe they've evolved their name too, but
the actor's name is Paul Guilfoyle. If I said that name right, I do apologize if I did not.
So I thought this scene was cool. How laid back he was. I wanted to pause it and zoom in on the paper to see what else the headline said. I didn't get a chance to do that yet, but just to see if there's any other goodies. So he tries to be funny too. He calls it an acute portal and stuff. I didn't really get that. Just
it was telling a pun,
right? But it wasn't like, I don't know.
It's adorable.
It was yeah, right. It was like dad jokes, Like it just seemed it seemed a little out of place, but it was okay.
You're right up your alley. Are you kidding?
That's true.
I freaking loved that. That's why I think that was one of the reasons why I think maybe he's a Q. But
Where you think he's a Q?
well, what else is it going to be? What other omnipotent being do we have?
I mean, we had Kevin. I mean, him and his wife both had names. They were Qs, right?
Kevin wasn't omnipotent though.
Kevin
He was just
Umbrix?
Yeah, he wasn't omnipotent. He just was. I mean, he could only project on that planet. He wasn't, and to do things a little outside that planet. He's just a powerful being. He wasn't like a Q.
Oh, I thought he was a Q.
No.
Oh, I need to rewatch that then. So, they decipher the away message, or the not the away message. The what's it called? Rescue message? That's not the right term. What the hell was that
The
message?
beacon,
Whatever it
the
is.
signal flare, the emergency message.
Yeah, whatever it was. They decipher it, and it's a Kelpian. And at first I thought it was Saru's sister, but it wasn't. But yeah. So what do you guys think about this? I didn't.
Yeah,
Really
I think it was fairly convenient. I mean that's I guess one of the things about this episode that I was kind of like, eh. And in my mind, it's like out of all the species out of everywhere, we just happen to run into another Kelpian. I mean, we've never seen him in another series ever, and here 900 years in the future, they happen to be the cause of the burn or at the center of the burn. It just seemed a little.
So it was
convenient.
actually Saru that caused the burn.
Well,
when the ganglia thing, when he freed his people.
Well, the people that were holding them kept saying how dangerous they were. The Kelpians, remember? So maybe, but they seem normal though. That's what kind of threw me off. So I would have understood it a little bit better if the Kelpians would have been like renegades or something like that. But they didn't give that. They didn't give that on the distress signal. They didn't really give any sign that they were doing something wrong. It seemed like they.
I think that was the point though.
Well, yeah, but it seemed kind of weird. So it was 100. What did they say? 120 years right before the burn happens when they sent this out,
Right.
And they were going to a interstellar dilithium nursery, which I don't really know what that is. Have they ever talked about that before?
Not that I've ever heard.
You need to baby dilithium to get it to grow.
No, not. I mean, that's like a stellar nursery. Oh, okay. I missed the joke. Yep.
Okay. Anyways,
that joke.
So I don't really know what the whole point of this is, but I do find it interesting that it was a Kelpian, and that the other race, which we've never really got a resolution on it, why they kept saying that these guys, this is bad that the Kelpians evolve. So maybe that's going to lead there somewhere, but maybe they did cause the burn. I mean, I don't really think it was Saru necessarily but maybe the Kelpians.
Well, but if Saru wouldn't have freed his people, then and gone through the revolution or whatever, then Discovery caused the burn in that aspect as well. I'm sure there's going to be like 4 or 5 different things that all because they all just culminate into this one finite point and it pops. So I think we're just tying in how what Saru did with the Kelpians and freeing them. I think it's all going to come full circle with multiple different things culminating in the cause of the burn.
Maybe. So she ends up going through the door by herself, and where does she end up? The Terran
universe.
Yeah, the Terran
back in time too.
Yes, back to the day that Lorca tried to assassinate her, and Michael was assisting basically, and she, pretty quickly realizes what day it is, and it was so cool to see Killy and Michael both. We didn't get to see them in their Mirror Universe version. I thought both of them were awesome. I like their characters. I really honestly, I like the Terran universe. I don't know why people don't like it. I think the actors probably have a blast because they seem to have fun being like the bad side of their personalities. I like the fight between I forget her name. She just took over as security officer in the Mirror Universe.
Oa?
Yeah, Oa or something like that. Yeah, I love that fight between her and the one guy. And I don't know. I just thought it was really good. I really thought that those scenes were fun to watch. Did you guys pull anything from the beginning?
Yeah, I thought I was about to get her butt kicked.
I mean, no deep pulls, but
it was fun to watch. That's what I got.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
You think we'll see Lorca?
No.
Yes.
I think we will. I kind of thought we'd see him already.
I think we'll see him in the second part.
I don't think so because I have a theory that Jason Isaacs is going to play Thrawn in Star Wars Mandalorian. So
That doesn't
I
mean
don't
he
think we're
couldn't
going
have
to
been
see
in
him in
this.
Star Trek.
This has already been filmed.
Yeah, we can come back for one episode.
I mean, I don't care. I don't know. I don't think you're going to find him in those two different universes at the same time. But I don't know. I could be wrong. That's just kind of hoping. I think as far as the Thrawn characters, well, we're not. This isn't a Star Wars podcast, but like ultimately, I don't think we're going to see him in Star Trek because I think he's going to be in Star Wars.
He's already been Star Trek. I mean, why would it matter?
It's also in Harry
Look,
Potter.
I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Like,
Listen to
like my opinion, man.
All right. It's not making sense. It's fine. So
Let's turn this into a Jason Isaacs podcast.
So we get him back there on the Terran world, and she's trying to basically reestablish her dominance. And you can see everybody's kind of plotting against her. Not everybody, but you can see the people who are plotting against her. Detmer is plotting against her. Michael obviously is. So is the doctor, or the engineer. I'm forgetting his name now. The one that she stabbed in the neck, who's doing the play. Oh my gosh, what is his name?
Stamets?
Yeah, thank you. Stamets is obviously trying to kill her. I thought that play was kind of cool though. Like, it gave me like Rome vibes, like what a back in like the Roman era, probably how they did like the dramatic plays or whatever you want to call them. And
Right.
I've kind of always thought that of the Mirror Universe. I think they kind of based it off that a little bit, but I thought that was really cool. And then she stabbed him and killed him, so Stamets is dead. So question: now that Stamets is dead, before we met Stamets in season 1 of the Mirror Universe when he was in the whatever it was, the
Mycelial network.
Yes, thank you. So did that happen now? Are we gonna get a time paradox? What's gonna happen with that? Anything? Nothing? I don't think they're gonna do anything. But you guys, what do you guys think?
Look, I don't think any of this is real.
Really?
I think this is all in her mind, and she's just coming to terms with something. And you know what? Here's my crazy random theory here is that she's going to come out the other side no longer Terran, and she's going to be human.
Ooh, I got something to go with that.
This is a Pinocchio story.
No, I don't think she's coming back. I think Michael is going to come back. And that is how we got Michael. And why she's so different.
Wait, what?
Michael from the Mirror Universe. Georgia is going to save her, and she's going to come back, and that's why the Michael that we know now is so different. That's why she's wanting to stay with Book and doesn't care much about Starfleet. She's going to humanize Michael.
How? And she comes back and is on the planet waiting on the other Michael?
I think she's going to come back early, kind of like how they time traveled back. Maybe to stop the Great Burn or something. I don't really know how they're going to do it, but
Interesting.
maybe Michael in our universe is going to die and she's going to take her place. We're going to have a complete swap.
I don't think anybody from the Mirror Universe is coming back. Well, I think Giorgio is. I think what's going to happen at the resolution of this next episode, what's going to happen is it's going to be like an instantaneous walk through the door of what Michael's going to see. But in Giorgio's mind, all of this is transpiring. So all Michael's going to see is she walked through the door, and all of a sudden Giorgio says she's healed or whatever, and had this epiphany and is a changed person, and we're going to have Giorgio back on the show. That's what I think is going to happen at the end of this. So ultimately, it's just a holodeck episode.
What if Michael comes back? Mirror Michael comes back and saves the original Giorgio from getting stabbed. And so we get the original Giorgio back in our universe. Think that could happen?
No. I think it's fat chance.
Okay. I'm going to stretch.
I think there's too much character development that we've gotten for the Terran Giorgio to bring back the original.
So so is Section 31 going to take place in that 6 months that she was over and we kind of missed her in Discovery? The Section 31 show, you think?
Take place in the future.
Like, so
I'm going to maintain that.
So you think she's coming back?
Theory.
You think she's coming back then?
No. Well, I don't think she's coming back to Discovery.
I don't think she. Yeah, that's possible. You know, that's my other thought is that I think she's just gonna walk through the door and it's gonna be an instantaneous thing. But what may happen is she actually may go to the Prime universe, right? Or the main universe, and stay there, and her future self, her other self, goes with them into the future, and we're gonna have a Giorgio in the past and a Giorgio in the future. And that's one of the things the doctor was why he was asking her so many questions, is because there was a Giorgio that lived until old age, and there was a Giorgio that was there with him now. So he knew she was a temporal somebody that travels through time, because not only was she there now, but she was also recorded in the past
So you're thinking the
in the prime.
Giorgio now that's there is going to survive and end up at the end going with Discovery, just like she did first season, except she's not going to go on into the future. She's going to do Section 31 from there on out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's actually, I like that. So do you think, how do you think they'll play it? Will they have a memory of her? Yeah, they will then.
Right. She'd
Yeah.
be in the record basis. She'd
Right.
be part of Section 31, and she'll have all these records of, she'll put all this on record and whatever. And that's why they already knew. That's what that doctor knows. He knows that she was, that's why he questioned her. So then that's why he questioned her, is because he knew that she was not Giorgio, but he realized she was Giorgio. So he's trying to figure out.
But why didn't he say that she had a chance then? Because he was ready to kill her off. The computer's the one that said
Because
there's
he
a
wanted
5%
to, he wanted to
chance.
close the temporal gap. He thought, he knew it was going to be the best. He wanted her to die. They wanted to kill her off, because he wanted, like, he knew that, he even said the temporal wars were like the most deadly, blah blah blah, the most dangerous thing, and it's a hard stop.
Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe he's just trying to nip it in the bud. What do you think, Brad?
I don't know. I think
You think it's a bunch of bull hockey anyway?
I don't know that I subscribe to this whole dual Giorgio thing.
How else do you think she's going to be in Section 31?
I don't know. I mean, that's how I think Section 31 is going to be in the future. That's just my thing. I think that's it. I think that's the most plausible way for us to get a Section 31 without boundaries, is to do it in the future. Otherwise, there's a lot of Section 31 things that need to occur, and the timeline that we're used to in TNG and whatnot. I think that just isn't going to be a very great story unless it's in an area that doesn't have any boundaries.
So you think she's going to come back to the future, prime future that we're in now with Discovery? Think she's going to come back there and basically say, I can't be around you anymore, Michael. It's too emotional. It hurts too much, blah, blah, blah. And stay at the Starfleet base or whatever and start her own Section 31?
Well, I don't know, but I'm going to attach all of that to it. Yeah, she's just not going to return. I don't think she's going to return as a regular on Discovery past this point. I think this is all just story building to get to the point of being able to have her in a Section 31 show.
You think she's going to give Michael a heart and then Michael's going to take over the Terrans?
No.
Think she's going to end up killing her?
I don't think any of that is actually occurring. I still think that's in her head.
So how's it going to end? Even in her head. Why would they go through a door though? I don't buy the in the head thing.
Okay.
It's too much buildup. I don't know. I thought it was really good. I love the Terran universe. I like seeing all the people being their bad selves. And I think I'm still going to go with, it's going to be something crazy. Either Michael's going to take over the Terrans and rule with a heart now because of what Michelle, or well, what's her character name? Because what Giorgio did for her to spare her life and showed her compassion and stuff. Or she's going to end up coming back for some reason. I don't know how they'd spin it quite yet, but something's going to happen out of this. But I really don't think Giorgio will be back on Discovery. She may go back in time and go back to the original Discovery and go forward, and then not do the Dark Angel or the Red Angel travel with them. She may stay, and then that's when we'll get the Section 31 show.
But at the same time, what's really the point of a Section 31 in the future?
'Cause
Like right
freaking
now, I mean,
cool.
they're still so worried about keeping the Federation alive. Why would they even waste resources on a secret division for the Federation in the future when they're just more worried about keeping the Federation going and as a cohesive environment?
Because it seems like it's a way more interesting world with a whole bunch of more rebels and like non-normal factions like this whole Orion Syndicate and all these other factions that seem to be part of them, like the whole uh
Emerald Chain thing.
yeah, the Emerald Chain stuff. Like I don't know, I would think you would almost need spies more than you did previously.
I would agree with that.
I think they could spin it either way. I'm excited for that show, but so at the very end she spares Michael and doesn't kill her. I thought that was a great ending. Brad, we were talking earlier, you didn't like it.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm not going to say that she spares her. I think that what she said, that killing her would have been the easy answer. So I think that causing her to go through the agonizer and then everything else she's got planned for her is actually more. It's going to be harder on her than actually just ending her life. Honestly,
Do you think that's why there's that 5% chance? The 5% was if Giorgio actually changed, and that just shows that Giorgio has actually changed the mentality of how she views Michael, this Emperor Giorgio that we're used to. And that's that 5% chance, is if she's able to either have Michael kill her, or she keeps them both alive. For what purpose or for how long is this 5% chance going to go? I think ultimately what's going to happen is Michael is going to kill her, and because she's going to do it because she loves her, as opposed to the opposite way around, and that will bring her salvation to closing the gap between and cutting the ties between the past mirror universe Giorgio and the Giorgio we have now. I think it's gonna like seal her soul into the future Giorgio.
I think somehow we're gonna see Lorca and Giorgio fight again, just like we did at the end of season one there, or mid season one, wherever it was. Except I think we're gonna see Michael step in because Giorgio's gonna almost be dead and save her and end up killing off Lorca again, and then she's gonna send her into the future with Discovery, like I said earlier. And I think Michael's gonna rule the Terrans with a heart. And so we may get more episodes of them in the Terran Mirror universe. Maybe that's another spinoff. They're supposedly working on something else, another new Trek show. Maybe we're gonna get a. Well, I can't see him getting that actor though for another series, but
I think Lorca is Section 31.
I don't know. Were you done with the episode review about telling us what was going on with the episode? I don't think you were. I think we stopped.
Yeah, because we talked about
Or did we stop
on
just
the
kind of like
planet.
this episode did, with no logical ending and just felt like a commercial break?
I took I took a lot smaller notes than normal. I tried to hit key so we would talk more ourselves. Did I miss anything you want to talk about? I hit everything on my notes.
No. I mean, I guess I let off with this. I really didn't feel like this was much of an episode, and I'm going to withhold judgment on this whole thing until we see next week's episode, because I think this is a 2-hour episode with a long week-long 7-day commercial break.
I see that.
They took this one idea and ran it long, so they just cut it in half, released it as a two-parter, is what you're saying?
Yep, they just whacked it in half with no. I mean, I don't. Yeah, that's just my feelings on this one. It didn't feel like it. It had a very good end. It just sort of ended, and I was kind of like, huh, this episode didn't even really get started, did it? It just started telling some pre-story and some prelude, and we didn't really get much there.
Go ahead, Will.
No, go ahead.
I didn't see them going back to the Mirror universe at all, so this really surprised me. And I get it, half the episode was getting there, but once they got there, I was loving it. So when it ended, I was like, oh my god, it's over already? Like, time just flew. And I can't wait for part 2.
It was a 45-minute episode, so I mean, it did what it needed to do. Did you guys feel like during the dedication ceremony, it wasn't just like Stamets and Michael like giving each other the weird eye and stuff? I mean, the whole rest of the actual crew was doing the same thing, just kind of looking at each other. And do you think that's just a mirror universe kind of thing where they're all just so untrusting of each other, or do you think that they're all kind of in on the try to kill in the assassination attempt, and they were
Detmer,
just kind of like so unsurprised that it failed, or they were all surprised that it failed, so that way they were all kind of like, what do we do now? Shit.
Detmer was definitely in on it. You could tell by the way she was sitting next to Michael and kept looking at her. There was a couple others too. I figured they're going to divide about 50-50.
Right. And so we also see that Culber didn't even really react when Stamets died.
Well, it's because I don't know that they're together in the mirror universe. I don't remember that being a thing.
They were sitting together eating at the mess hall, but yeah, nothing else other than that. There was like 4 of them there to go. So relationships don't seem to be as important, obviously, as Michael referenced Lorca as a sex buddy for a couple of nights, and that was all, or however she referenced it.
She grew tired of him.
Yeah. So, do we want to wait till episode 2 to rate these 2 episodes, or do we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys can provide ratings if you want, but I don't have enough data to do a rating yet.
That's fine. I said we wait. You good with that, Will?
Yeah, sure.
I like this episode a lot. I like the Terrans. It was good.
You're gonna give this an 8? Oh my gosh.
I think an 8's a good rating. It was a good episode.
I mean, I think it is too for an episode that deserves an 8.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't, but you just did it on the video stream. That's a 9. Get out of town. You are.
No, I just like to mess with you because so far, like the last episode, wasn't a fan of it. It was just kind of a passable. But this one, I feel like is progressing Giorgio, and something's going to happen. So I think if this continues out on the same path, and I think this could progress and answer some of our questions that we've been having all season.
Yep, you're definitely right. Something's gonna happen.
Those you can't see, I gave Brad the finger.
But which one? You'll never know because we're an audio-only podcast.
Unless you're watching on YouTube.
Unless you're watching on YouTube, then in which case you might get some video.
All right, everybody. Thanks for checking out our podcast covering Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 9. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as me and Will did. Yeah. Oh, and Brad, too. He kind of enjoyed it, right? Yeah. You not
Brad's
like the Terra universe?
Brett's is not a Star Trek fan, is what it is. He's more of a
is
Star
that
Wars
what it is?
guy.
I give most of the episodes in this season an 8. I give this one like I'm gonna hold judgment. And you're like, Brad didn't like Star Wars no more or Star Trek no more.